So there's a Nigerian proverb that says, it takes a village to raise a child. I will change that to apply to me to say, it has taken a village of teachers to raise me. And one of those teachers has been my mother. My mother raised my brother and me as a single parent, working 2 to 3 jobs at times in order to provide for us, and also to support our family back in El Salvador. A memory that I have as a young child of my mom is going to work with her on my days off from school. At that time, she used to clean houses in the DC suburbs. I remember going to work with her, and I remember seeing her scrub the bathroom floors. And as she scrubbed the bathroom floors, she would look at me, point her finger at me, and say, "Quiero algo mejor para ti. I want something better for you. Quiero algo mejor para ti." And then the same message she would tell me in different words, but she would always tell me that. And other times she would really get really close to my face and say, "Yo no te traje a Estados Unidos para que no hagas algo de ti misma. I didn't bring you to the United States so you don't make something of yourself." So I was a young child, so I would just find that annoying. I'd say, "Oh, here goes my mom again, fingered." And so, but she said it so many times that it really stuck. And it's the message that I carried with me. At the end of my junior year, I approached my mom. I was a little nervous because I knew that what I was going to tell her, she was not going to be happy with. And she was probably not going to agree with me. But I decided to tell her anyway. And I said, "Mom, I'm no longer going to Benjamin Banneker. I'm transferring to Bell." So she stopped what she was doing. She was like, "¿Qué? ¿Estás loca? Esa es una buena escuela. ¿De qué estás hablando? What? Are you crazy? That's a great school. What do you want to change?" And then I said, "I don't like it there. They don't even know me. Do you know they call me Rosmery every single day? The one other Latina in the school? It's like we look completely different. Curly hair, very light skin, straight black hair, short, dark skin, and yet they call me Rosmery. They don't really know me there. I don't feel at home there." ¿Qué? It's like, "No te mando a la escuela para que te sientas en casa. Aquí es la casa y allá es la escuela. Te mando a estudiar a la escuela, no a que te sientas en casa. So I send you to school to learn. I don't send you to school to feel at home. This is home, that's school." So then she finished the conversation by saying, "Tú te vas a quedar allí y ya, punto. You're staying there and that's it." So that's how my mom ended our conversation. So I went ahead, I had just turned 18. So I went without telling her and transferred. But I was really scared, I didn't tell her. So school was about to start, my senior year. So I approached her again and I said, "Mom, I'm starting school, but I'm actually going to Bell." ¿Qué estás diciendo? ¿Fuiste detrás de mí y te cambiaste de escuela? You're telling me you went behind my back and changed schools? See? And at that point, everything she said, it just became a blur. It was just every cuss word in the Salvadorian dictionary that you could ever imagine. She said it left and right, and I was just like... Then she crossed her hands in front of her and turned around and gave me the silent treatment. That's the worst you can get from your mom. So when she gave me the silent treatment, I was like, "No, no, no, keep cussing me. Keep cussing me." It's like, at least we're talking, kind of. But when she was quiet, it was just like, oh, man. And you know, it wasn't like 1 or 2 days. It was a couple of months. So it was bad. So that's how I started my senior year. But I was like all happy on my first day, and it was like, "Oh, this is nice. there were so many people that looked like me. There were so many people that spoke my language. I didn't feel like a stranger, a foreigner. I felt at home. And the vendedoras right outside of Bell made it like, you're kind of at home. All the Salvadorian food I could want, homemade food, was right there. Since we didn't have a cafeteria, we went out to eat, but literally it was right in front of the door, a front door. And there was a whole buzz there. What colleges are you applying? Where are you gonna go after high school? And it's very different from my previous school, that the only option they presented me was the local university. And here, it was like, yeah, that was one choice, but there are many other choices for you to think about. And that's where I met my teacher, Mr. Berliner. Mr. Berliner walked me through the college application process. He will call the schools, the universities that I was applying to, and try to give them a bigger picture of who I was as a student and as a person and why I would be a good fit for their school. He would arrange college visits. I remember one of the I called him up from one of the college visits, and I was like, hey, you know, there's a student here who's checking the school out. He already got accepted. And he's just checking it out to see if this is the school where he wants to come. You know, he doesn't speak English good, and I think I have a good shot at this school. And then he would just laugh. It's like, oh, you mean he doesn't speak English well? I'm like, yeah, that. And so he was the one that walked me through this application process it was completely foreign to me. And there was no one in my family who had gone that route, who had ever gone to college here in the US. So I couldn't rely on anyone, not because they didn't care, it's just that they didn't know, and neither did I. So he planted the seed about going away to college, and I landed in the middle of nowhere, in Grinnell, Iowa. I landed in Grinnell College, and I remember calling him up, and he's like, you didn't tell me it was this cold? And other times I would call him up, it's like, what is this thing about a major that people are talking about? Is that something I need to be taking? Or like, which class would be better for me, this or that? So he really was there for me throughout. He answered my calls no matter when I call. During college and after college, my mother eventually came around, obviously, way before the school year ended, that senior year. She was very proud to see me graduate from high school, college, and later on grad school. I came back later on to teach English language learners at Bell. And I think it's one of those places for me that I know it upset my mom that I changed schools, but it was a place where I felt at home, that it really helped me thrive. And thanks to Bell and to my two best teachers, my mom and Mr. Berliner. Thank you.
Every year, my students read Night by Elie Wiesel. Following completion of the novel, I assigned them the task of writing their own memoir. Maria came to America when she was 5 years old, wrote that she had to cross a river before she ever knew what it meant to swim, ran through knee-high grass as if the field were made of landmines, hid under the belly of trucks amid concrete and fertilizer so as not to leave a scent for the dogs. She did not know why she was running, but she knew that her mother cried every night for her father. She knew she was beginning to forget the outline of her daddy's face. She knew that he worked 18 hours a day just to provide them with food that they could barely find at home. She knew that he loved them and wanted to remember what it felt like to hold his daughters in his arms. But Maria was 5. She doesn't remember life in Mexico. She remembers kindergarten, and sleepovers. And middle school graduation, she is more American than any slice of apple pie, but that is not what we tell her. We punish Maria for just following directions, for being a child who was simply listening to her parents. We tell her parents that they are wrong for wanting a better life for their family. We tell her that a 4.0 isn't good enough. We tell Maria that college wasn't meant for girls like her. We say too much brown skin. We say too much accent. We say, where'd you come from? We say, you don't have a number, so you don't exist. It's hard to convince someone to do well in school when the law tells them that it won't matter. When you're a number before your face. How convenient that we forget our own history, a country of immigrants who were once told we didn't belong, an assemblage of faces simply waiting for our country to see us.